Hey, it's Sammy for another episode of the I Do Music podcast, and our goal and our mission is to empower and educate musicians and artists worldwide. And on today's episode, we sat down with the artist and 1/4 of Goodie Mob, Khujo Goodie, discussing how Goodie Mob helped make a name for Atlanta, dealing with the highs and lows of this business, and how his music continues to evolve 20 plus years later. Hey, it's Sammy Approved for another episode of the I Do Music podcast, and I'm sitting down with artist, half of the Lumberjacks, fourth of Goodie Mob, Khujo Goodie.
What's happening?
What's happening?
Chilling dog. How you doing?
I'm well, thank you for asking. And how are you?
I can't complain today. You know what I'm saying? It's you're gonna have rainy days, you're gonna have sunny days. You just gotta be able to withstand both of them. So it's always good to still have breath in your body and people that ask you questions about what you did in your past. You know what I mean? The good things in the past, I'll put it that way.
We're going to talk about all the things. Okay? All of the things, because the people, I'm not sure, how familiar you are with this podcast, but of course we've had Ray from the Dungeon family here and just probably a bunch of your friends, who've done amazing, legendary things like yourself.
True that.
And the people who listen to this podcast are aspiring artists, producers, songwriters, and everything that you've been able to do over the course of your career and continue to do. So they want to learn from even those lessons.
Okay.
So we're going to get into that. We were talking about off the record, though, being from Atlanta. It's very rare now. You see today in 2019, it is a melting pot of just so many different people. But I know when I talk to people who aren't from here, they really speak to the culture of Atlanta and how special that is. You being from here and growing up and allowing your career to blossom here, what would you say? Why is Atlanta so special? What is so important about this city that people are just like drawn to?
You could say a lot of things, you know what I mean? Because I remember the Olympics was here, you know what I mean? So that drew a lot of people to Atlanta. But I could say with the music wise, just by mentioning a lot of places in the music, like Camilton Road, you know what I'm saying, like the Swats, Bankhead, you know what I'm saying, East Point, Decatur, by mentioning those things in the music and people having a chance to hear the music, I think they was almost kind of like intrigued to be like, where are those places? Because I remember when I was growing up here in NWA, man, where's Compton?
Right.
I mean, where's South Central? What is the Slauson? What is that? You know what I mean? So finally got a chance to see those streets and see those things, and I say, okay, I see why those people put those things in the music, because it was a part of them. So I think a lot of people, besides the Olympics, man, they heard some stuff in the music, and that made them want to come down and just really experience what we were experiencing down here.
Absolutely. And why would you say this city is a special place to grow up? Because I think, as somebody who was born and raised here and grew up here, it's just different. Like, we don't, like, I went to the skating rink and seen Destiny's Child, and it wasn't a surprise to see Beyonce at the skating rink at the time, you know what I mean? Or seeing you guys, like, and having friends who, grew up in that, knowing that this is their uncle or their dad or,
Well, I mean, you're right, because you can see people like that, because I went to school, I went to Benjamin Elijah Mays.
Me as well, sir.
Okay, so that's great.
Benjamin Elijah Mays.
So I remember Chili, she used to be in my class, you know what I mean? So all of us went to school together at one point or another, and getting into our music careers, we often bump into each other. And it's just not, Atlanta at that time, it wasn't really Hollywood like that, you know what I mean? You could see a Raheem a Dream on the street, you know what I'm saying? You could see a Outkast in Greenbrier Mall, you know what I mean? You could see a CeeLo coming down Camilton Road.
I still have seen a Sleepy Brown in
a Sleepy Brown in Greenbrier, you know what I mean? So it's just that homegrown thing, man, in Atlanta, Georgia has become that mecca for hip hop music, you know what I mean? It was definitely in New York for a while, and we learned a lot from them. And we just took it to another level down here in Atlanta.
Absolutely. And it's great that you talk about the NWAs or, the
Public Enemies, Cypress Hill, all of them, Naughty by Nature, influenced by all those people.
Right. And growing up, you being able to listen to that music, but then also have this aspiration of wanting to be an artist yourself. How challenging was it for you guys in the early 90s to be taken seriously as a Southern rapper or rap group at the time?
I think it was challenging for Atlanta at the time because you still had people out like UGK,
Well, yeah,
Ball and G,
true.
666 Mafia. So those guys were making independent moves at that time. And I don't think that we had that independent drive yet down here in Atlanta. But you did have people that was home in their craft and ready just for that window to open up for us, like LaFace. LaFace was that window for Outkast and Goodie Mob to really let people know what was going on down here in Atlanta, Georgia.
How were y'all discovered by LaFace?
It was through Organized Noise. Organized Noise, that was the meeting spot. That was the camp. That was the castle. That was the dungeon. That was where all these guys coming from East Point, Southwest Atlanta, Northwest Atlanta, Decatur, coming to this one spot, and the music drove us there. You feel what I'm saying? So when I mention those names like NWA, Cypress Hill, Not About Nature, Public Enemy, all those people were who I listened to when I was coming up. You know what I mean? That's what I heard on the radio first.
Right.
I mean, I couldn't really hear any. I couldn't tell if the people on the radio were from Atlanta or if they were from Florida or Miami, because that's all we were really getting down here was Miami based.
Right.
But you still had people like the A-Town Hardheads, you know what I mean, coming straight out of Atlanta. I mean, straight raw. But we had our chance, and that was our chance to shine and to bring light to Atlanta, Georgia, man.
When was the first time, I guess, even as a child, you discovered that you had this like love, or you were bit by the music bug, as I like to call it?
I like to tell people this story. It had to be at Southwest Middle School, right? And I think that's when I first seen Breaking and Beat Street.
That movie clearly was very influential to a lot
wow.
of people and to get into music.
Wasn't it? I mean, you had Run DMC was in the movie, LL Cool J. I mean, you had the Fat Boys in the movie, man. I mean, you had New Edition. So it was movies like that influenced me, you know what I'm saying, at the time. And I didn't realize that everybody else was watching the same movie. So we came to school. I came to school one day, man. Everybody had Gazelles on, Kangos, Adidas with no shoestrings in it. I mean, this was around the 80, 84, 85, break dancing, all that stuff, pop locking, man. We was definitely in the spirit of what hip hop was supposed to be. You know what I mean? DJ, MC, and graffiti and dancing. People down here in the South, man, we sucked that up with those two movies.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Now I've heard it a few times on this particular platform where people say, those movies influenced.
That was the beginning for me. You know what I'm saying? And that's what kind of made me I kind of wanted to DJ a little bit first for some reason, because I liked the way I seen them doing this and making sounds and making it do all type of crazy stuff. I was like, man, I want to do that.
Yeah.
So I had 2 turntables, a pyramid mixer, and I tried to do it. But I think at that time I really wanted to say something there.
Yeah, so you realized that rapping would have been a better outlet for you.
Yeah, I think that was a better outlet for me. Yeah.
And were you like naturally a performer?
No,
not
really. I wasn't. I think just really coming up in the neighborhood, playing all type of crazy sports like throw up, tackle, and any hop and all that type of stuff, kind of molded me to where I wasn't that afraid of being in front of people. But it's a every show battle, man. You still get those jitters when you go out there on the stage and you see those people out there.
When I can tell you that I cannot tell. I saw you guys perform. What was it, at the Tabernacle, that last show? The energy is infectious on stage. Yours specifically, of course, Gib, the whole Goodie Mob in general, it's like an infectious energy. And even from like that energy and your fashion, it's just super inspiring to someone like me who's very creative. And I mean, I guess I can just ask you this now, like how important do you think having or developing that stage presence, despite the anxiety you might get every single time, how important is that for an artist, and why did you guys even decide to reunite on that tour?
Well, it's important because you want people to believe what you're saying. You know what I mean? So we definitely wanted people to believe what we were talking about at the time, because at that time we wasn't talking about pistols, or you know what I'm saying, going up in the latest strip club or whatever, or like people like to say as far as trapping, selling dope like that. We didn't want to do it that way. You know what I mean? We kind of wanted to come off a totally different way. And being that we had that type of stuff in the rhymes without the other fluff, it's almost like we had to come a little bit harder. You know what I mean? We had to be a little bit more convincing.
Yeah.
And the music being in your blood, man, and then you leaving out your house and people asking you and recognizing you when you're gonna do this and when you're gonna do that, and it hit all four of us. So it's like, man, we got to come to the realization is that we got to do something else for our people, for our fans out there. So that's why we was coming back out, doing the Soul Food, Still Standing, Summer World Party, man. Just all of our songs that people know us of, just getting that momentum back.
Talk about soul food. Well, let's go back, because some people may not even understand the importance and the impact of Goodie Mob. You all, why did you decide to join a rap group? Why did you decide to form Goodie Mob? Like, how did that come about?
Well, actually, it started out with Timo and I.
Oh, Lumberjacks, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, actually, we were Goodie Mob, but we had a song called Lumberjacks.
Oh.
So at the time, we had managers that's like, man, well, why don't y'all just call yourself Lumberjacks? It's like, all right, well, whatever. You know, we'll do it like that, but it was still Goodie Mob Lumberjacks, meaning that we're in Southwest Atlanta, where there's nothing but trees around. You're in the woods and whatever, and we just live life like lumberjacks, just lazy, just a Southern lifestyle. You know what I mean? That's how we was really doing it, and just when we came out with Soul Food, it was just us as being ingredients. You know what I mean? Me being the meat, Timo being the bread, Gip being vegetables, and CeeLo being water. So it was just a concept on how the world would accept us, instead of just calling us all them some Bama boys or they country or we can't understand the way they rap. We actually had to put thought in it, along with organized noise, producing us along the way with that.
And it's interesting that you talk about like the different pieces of the group and how all of those things are important, especially to soul food. You know, you gotta have a full plate.
Right.
Gotta have your sides. You gotta have your protein.
Gotta wash it down too.
You gotta wash it down. What, like, how important was it to have like everybody play their role? You know what I mean? Like everybody, and especially in the creative process. I'm gonna ask you about your process in particular with creating, because I know you went on to do your own solo projects and you have a song out that came out this year. So, anyways, I'm curious to know why each person is key to the success of the group as a whole.
Because everybody brought a different element to the music. Being that now Gip, Timo, both of them was raised in both parent household, so they brought that type of vibe to the music. Me, I brought up in a one parent household. CeeLo also had both parents also, but ended up passing. So we brought those type of feelings to the music, and we was from all different walks of life. You know what I mean? So with those experiences and those family experiences and those family values, all that stuff came to the table, and it made us a better group, song for song, because we learned something from each other from each song. Like, oh man, I didn't know that. Oh wow, man, I didn't know that you. How did you come up with that style? It was that type of thing. It was a brotherhood, man, because we wanted to represent so bad for Atlanta and not have people to say that we sound like somebody else.
Facts. And just even your approach, like what's your particular approach to a record, you know, especially at the time when you are working with the group?
Wow. Man, at that time, man, I had been writing so many raps. I had,
He was hungry.
Notebooks full of raps, man. I could just remember just writing about stuff, man. I could just happen in my house, just being able to make the words, the end of the word rhyme with the next phrase, and just, you know, most of that stuff is some things that happened maybe in my past, or maybe some stuff that was going on right now, or some things that I would like to see happen.
Like
You know what I mean?
manifesting.
Right, right.
Do you see that you manifested things through like your music?
Well, like I say, it's nothing new under the sun. You know what I mean? It's 26 letters in the alphabet. So what different word can you say? You know what I
Right.
mean? So I just think that we was building on another man's foundation at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So just to be able to stand up for Atlanta, Georgia, man, and then have something conscious and positive to say that lasts throughout the years on up to now, and people are talking about it. I think that was an awesome move. I think it was great. I'm glad we did it like that.
I am. I'm super happy that you have because, I mean, if you look around at the industry and what you birthed, I know, you talk about building upon something that already existed, right? Like nothing's new under the sun. Obviously, rap, hip hop came from another genre,
Right.
genre. And we've been doing this as a people.
Right.
But how do you feel Goodie Mob specifically and the Dungeon family have influenced what we see now as Atlanta's hip hop scene or music scene in general? Because we are crossing genres and just boundaries. There are no boundaries. There are no limits. And when you all came out, that's exactly what you were saying. It's like, no, we're not gonna come talking about the same thing, but this is hip hop to us, and this is what we want to portray to the world. And at this point, Atlanta has been on since you guys came into the business. 20 years later, most of what you see is influenced by Atlanta.
Wow. I mean, it's a good thing because you want to be able to, if you're coming out your city or your state, you want to be able to look up to somebody who did it too that's in your city, you know, instead of coming from your state. So that's the reason why we kind of had to look up to the legends out there from New York, from California, from Texas. So we had to really look up to them and really do kind of like study them. You know what I'm saying? You got to study it so you can be that thumb that sticks out in hip hop. So it's a group out now like called Earth Gang.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
nice high.
They jam. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh man, Jid. You know what I mean? I mean,
He's still in.
it's great, man, to see that type of home growth coming up and busting through the weeds. You feel what I'm saying? And get recognized that okay, y'all coming from a place where hip hop stayed for a while, you know what I mean? And it still is growing. And you guys are homegrown and the music is awesome, man. It's a different sound. That's what you want to do in hip hop, man. You wanna be innovative for the next artists to come out, man.
Absolutely. And those guys have been working for a very long time.
You
So
see?
happy for them to see the success.
It takes time, man.
It does.
It takes time and it takes drive. And we worked, man, that first Soul Food album, we toured, oh man, I mean, just to get people interested in us, you know what I mean? Just for LaFace to give us a chance to come out and with a song like Cell Therapy. I mean, come on, who comes out with a song called Cell Therapy?
Right.
I mean,
But it's
you feel what I'm saying? It's like,
classic.
hey, and shout out to L.A. Reid, man, for really sticking by our side and letting us do that.
You think he took a risk?
Oh yeah, man, of course, man. L.A. Reid took a big risk, man, and Organized Noise took a big risk, but it worked out, man, because the industry was hungry for something new. You know what I mean? And soul food, who doesn't like soul food? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Who doesn't like to eat good food? So
Right.
we kind of patterned our music after that, especially with that album Soul Food.
Can you talk about that very first like tour though? Just like going out and realizing, okay, I'm doing this in real life.
Man, it was amazing because I had never been on an airplane before.
Oh wow. Where was the first place you went?
I think the first place we went, if I'm not mistaken, it had to be to the West Coast, man.
That's dope.
If not the West Coast, maybe to D.C. or something like that. But I was like Mr. T on 18. I'm like, man, I ain't finna fly, man. You crazy, man? Stop. But yeah, flying out to California, man, and really seeing the love that those people had for us out there.
Wow.
It was just mind blowing. I'm like, man, we from all the way over here on the Southeast Coast. And we come out here to California, man, and y'all show us love like this. It must be the music. You know what I mean? It must be what we were saying in the music because we wasn't really being offensive or trying to be offensive, anything like that. It was just some regular thoughts coming from some country boys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's just so many things. You guys had that first tour. Did you? At what point did you realize? Because I'm sure you worked other jobs before that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got fired from them. But
Why? Because you just
I
wasn't meant to work.
I think I wasn't meant to do that type of work.
What other jobs did you do?
I used to work at Six Flags.
Everybody
But
worked at Six
I
Flags.
got caught stealing, man. Some money, $5 that got me.
$5?
Yeah.
Quit playing.
I ain't lying.
What you needed? Some food?
I mean, it was. I threw it away, and then they found it, and then they read a whole bunch of other serial numbers. Like, yep, this is it. I was like, all right, man, you got me, you got me. But starting out going out on the road, man, with people like De La Soul and the Fugees.
Oh wow.
That's who we was up against on that first album, and it really just showed us, man, that hey, man, you guys are different from everybody else. You know what I mean? And that just gave us the drive, man, to keep doing music and keep representing for Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah. And at what point? I mean, just did you initially want to be a part of a group, or it just kind of happened that way for you? Because I know you wanted to be an artist yourself, and I think I don't know how like rap groups are necessarily formed, but aside from just having a relationship with someone and you think like, hey, we better together. But at the same time, I'm sure your intentions were like, I want to be an artist. Because y'all eventually go on to do your own things.
Yeah, I don't, see, when you first started, I don't think you really think about, I'm saying, I'm going solo, I'm going to do a group. I think you're just really beginning and trying to see if you can really do this.
Right.
You know what I mean? But, it was easy with the Goodie Mob because we had the same drive. You know what I mean? We wanted to stand up for Atlanta, Georgia, because they didn't have a presence at the time. We feel that it didn't have a presence.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really the drive right there, man. I ain't gonna even lie to you, man. Just want to come out of Atlanta, Georgia, and just represent, man, just like everybody else was representing, man. Just having that tenacity. And that those butterflies, just like when you about to get ready to either do a verse or do a show, you had those butterflies, and it was that type of thing, just to be able to, man, say something and just represent the South.
As of most recently, celebrating, just all of the success that you all have had over the years, and then reuniting to do these things. And I know new music, yes,
yeah.
Why is that important today? Just seeing. The industry just continuously it changes and evolves, and obviously inspired by the things that you all have done and the people before you. But my question is, why now to reunite and put out new things, and like, how different is it from when you first started? Really, like from then and now.
Well, the difference I start with that is it's a digital game now. You know what I'm saying? You got different platforms where your music is being displayed on right now. Mm-hmm. And you have to be on those. They got something like playlists now. Mm-hmm. So you have to be on those playlists for new fans to hear you and for your old fans to hear you. You feel what I'm saying? But the thing about music is it seems like you're never too old, though. And if you look at rock and roll, you see guys up there with gray hair. I mean, hair coming out. I mean, still got the guitar, still rocking it. You know what I mean? So I think it's still always room for new music in the music industry, man. So with that being said, us uniting and to do the new single, which is No Rain, No Rainbow, produced by Organized Noise featuring Sleepy Brown, I think that our fans would love to hear that. And it's like you never, I think with our fans coming up in the 90s, I don't think that they'll say, man, you too old to do that. You know what I mean? I just think it might be maybe another younger generation that might say it, but with our generation, when it came out in the 90s, they don't say you too old to do it. They just want to hear new music.
Exactly.
They want to see you guys together. They want to see the show together. They want to hear all the hits.
The thing is that your fans, your core fans from the beginning are still your fans today. Coming from, I have an older sister. She's 13 years older than me. So that's how I know about all of this, who also went to Mays. So that's how I grew up first taste of hip hop was probably the Dungeon Family
Wow.
and Organized Noise and Goodie Mob. So,
Wow. That's history.
so you have so you have new fans too, and of a younger generation. So even seeing you guys at that show, at the Tabernacle, you saw everybody. I'm talking about young,
Man, it was.
old,
Oh,
like
wow.
it was so many people in there. Sold out show.
That's Atlanta, man. That's every time in Atlanta. It's crazy. It is. I mean, in a good way, but it can also be crazy in a bad way because everybody's coming out the woodworks. I mean, it's like
I already know.
everybody's coming out, man, and they wanna not only see, with music it brings back memories of things. You know what I mean? And I think for the music that we do in the '90s, that we did in the '90s, still bringing back those memories. You know what I mean? And that's just what music does.
Speaking of memories, what memories do you have or can you recall? Because at a point, your life changed. You go on this tour, you start putting out projects, albums with Goodie Mob, and just forming those relationships and bonds, collaborating with other artists and things like that. Your life changes. Can you talk about now coming back to Atlanta or visiting home and it not being the same? People recognize you when you go to Greenbrier now, or they recognize you when you walking down the street. You just trying to do normal things.
You know what? I don't think it got that bad for Goodie Mob. You know what I mean? Because we did sell gold and platinum records. I don't think we hadn't reached that 10 million or that 5 million records where we need bodyguards everywhere we go, or we can't come out the house or nothing like that. But I think that was a good thing for Goodie Mob, that we still could be normal people. You know what I'm saying? I mean, people can walk up to a Khujo, Goodie, and a Kroger's. You know what I mean? And say, man, what's up, man? I like your music. Hey, man, thank you. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate that type of persona, man. But
why do you think it never really cracked the way it could have for Goodie Mob?
Well,
or it never reached that pinnacle, I guess.
I'm not sure. I mean, like I said, with music, you got to be consistent. You know what I mean? So you got to constantly be dropping music after this album, after this album, after this album. It's almost as though with the music business we in, you can't really afford to take a break or a hiatus. You know what I'm saying? Because people will think, oh, they stopped making music or they're not together anymore. So that's the type of pros and cons of the music industry that we got right now. But like I say, man, with music, it seems like it never ends, and the learning never ends either. So, like I said, it's a great thing, man, to keep dropping new music and just getting new fans like that.
Absolutely. So I told you I want to talk about your process, the creative process for you. You all, just as a group, just as individuals from the outside looking in, seem like very much so like perfectionists in a sense, and very intentional with the way that you move, just from what I've seen looking in. So I'm curious to understand the process for you creating. Do you have a certain energy that you like in the studio? Are you liking to work alone first and then, collaborate, or just how does that look like for you?
Wow, it's a lot of different ways. Sometimes you start out with an idea. Sometimes people start out with a title. Sometimes people start off with a hook. Sometimes, like with me, I start off with a whole verse. I used to start out with a whole verse and keep writing to the end of the paper. Then I come to the next page and write some more. And I might find a chorus or a hook inside of that somewhere. So I feel it's gonna fit because it's a part of what I'm writing. So that's one of the creative steps that I use. Sometimes I just listen to other music. You know what I'm saying? I listen to other MCs. I listen to instrumentals. Or it might just be something that comes on TV. And I say, oh, man, did you hear him say that? Wow, I think that might sound good to start off a first line. You know what I'm saying? So like on Fighting, on the Soul Food album, I started off with multiple stab wounds slicing through. That was something that I had seen on the news back then in those days. So I just happened to put that down and it just started writing a whole verse.
Wow.
It started my whole verse.
You was watching Channel 2? Channel 2 Action News.
Either Channel 2 or Channel 5. One of them, man. But
That's crazy.
yeah, for a minute, because you can look at what Gibbs say. He's like, man, will somebody please turn the lights on the 166? I can't see where the hell I'm going, right? But that came from him experiencing it. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of stuff come from experience. A lot of stuff come from things you see. A lot of stuff come from just how you feeling at that time.
Yeah. So you go on to do your own thing. Talk about, what is it, '02 when you put out your first project?
The Man Not the Dog.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was '02, man, and I was so excited about that because I felt like, oh man, I can do a solo album.
Yeah.
Because I had been doing Goodie Mob albums, and I had been perfecting writing the hooks and writing the verse. So I thought I had that, and to a point, I did have that because I finished up the album, and that was my first solo album, man. And well, gosh, man, it was hard, man, because my cousin Mark Twain, he helped produce some of the tracks on my album. I had my brother, he appeared on there on a song with me off the rip. My cousin was on there with me off the rip. And I had one of my partners, his name is Cool Raheem. He's not here now. He was murdered. But he helped me, man, he actually did a track for me, and he kind of showed me how to make the bass jump and do what it do. Like on the song, Not It's Going Down. I think of it in a minute, but he had production on there for me. So that was my first time really executive producing my own album. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I didn't know that at the time.
And I was going to ask you, too, because there's so many people not so many people, it's the people you just named in terms of features.
And Wild Peach was on there, too. Wild Peach, yeah.
That we may not know of, you know what I mean, like today. But those people specifically, were relationships you found important and to put on your debut album. Like, these are people that, you respected their craft. And I think collaboration is a cool thing, even when, like, to put somebody else on, knowing that this is your baby, essentially. How did you feel did you gain any, like, good response from that first project?
I did, man, because, I mean, it could have been mixed and mastered a little bit better, but that was my first installment. But people kind of really, they really kind of respected me for putting out new music, because it's all about putting out new music. At the end of the day, it's about putting out new music and keeping that buzz going, and just being able to have somebody featured on my album with me to kind of help me with the song, help me with writing the song, because you could sit there in front of a beat hours and not come up with nothing. Opposed to if you're having somebody on there writing with you, you're getting ideas and you're able to finish up the song. So I was with the people that was on the album with me, especially with Wild Peach, because they produced 2 songs out that album, Shortly and Pimps and Hoes. And I think that those 2 songs were one of my 2 best songs on the record, because they were did with live instruments.
Nice.
Live instruments, and I still had 2 reels to those.
Nice. That's rare. The live instrumentation piece, that y'all are very much so in tune with using real instruments and using, like, real music. And why? How do you feel more connected to a song that might have, like, live instrumentation versus something that was just produced?
I like both, but I do like the live music, man, because that's what Organized Noise was all about, man. At the end of the day, man, they will find something off a record. Next thing you know, they playing it totally different, and they own that sound. So, but with the live, it's different from programming, because when somebody's playing a bass, it's like they're talking with the bass. Somebody's playing a piano, it's like they're using their voice through the piano. Somebody is playing a trumpet, they're using their voice through the trumpets. You know what I mean? So I think that's what I like about live music, but opposed to produced music, man, you just can't get that drop from anything else. You got to have that drum machine with the drop. You got to have that drum machine to make the bass be repeated. You know what I'm saying? You got to have that machine. So both of them work hand in hand. I can remember at one point we was using both. We was using the live band and we was using digital equipment. It was called an instant replay back in the day. Instant replay.
Dope. Can you recall any like of your favorite just moments or sessions where y'all were like all together, or even if it's most recently, just like I don't know. I'm sure you have so many stories. I'm just trying to gauge, or like even creating some of like y'all like really big songs or your big songs, like a soul food, cell therapy, that
Oh
entire
man,
project.
I can recall a time doing Thought Process in Curtis Mayfield studio.
Wow.
Yeah, Curtis Mayfield studio, and I can remember Timo going first. I was like, man, I ain't got nothing, man. Cause those guys, man, I felt like they were some superior writers at that time, and still to this day, Timo, Gibb, and especially CeeLo, superior writers, and it was my time to come up. I didn't have nothing, man, so all I could do was freestyle. So that's how that song came about, me freestyling. But just being in Curton, man, all of us was together, man. It was almost like going to resident camp. You know what I'm saying? Being away from your house, from your mama, from your daddy, y'all camping out together. So it was to me, it was always like, man, we at camp, man.
Right.
We at resident camp, man. Spending the night, sleeping in sleeping bags. I mean, just really everybody coming together, man, to try to make this work. And at a young age, I mean, come on, we at a young age trying to put together one of the most influential albums coming out of Atlanta, Georgia.
Right.
We didn't know at the time.
Right.
We was just trying to put our best foot forward on that.
Absolutely. Now you are the only featured guest on every Outkast album, if I'm correct.
I hear that.
You are.
I hear that a lot.
Is that true?
I might be on quite a few of them. I don't know if it's all of them. I had to look. I had to look and see.
I can't even remember.
I had to look and see, but I mean, I just got a double hand salute, Big Boy and Andre, just for considering me on those albums, man, because they could have easily went and got somebody else. Easily, man.
I mean, but they needed you. They needed you.
Like I said, you got to be in this game. You can't be like, man, everybody like you, because everybody don't like you. Fact. And it's easy to feel like, okay, yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm Khujo Goodie, but no. So everybody's not gonna like you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was just honored. At the time, I wasn't even thinking about them on as many albums as they say I am. I was just happy to be able to just to represent, man. I mean, just to be up with those guys. I mean, come on, man. Outkast, Big Boy and Dre. Come on, man. Everybody know them, man. Everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Just working with them, like, and being able to come up with them too, though. Like, how does that feel? How does that make you feel to know that you are part of that legend as well?
It's great, man, because I can remember them coming to the dungeon for the first time.
Really?
You know what I'm saying?
What was that like?
Oh, man. It was almost an initiation type thing. They came to the dungeon, man. And, I mean, I think they were still fresh out of Tri-City at the time. And
how did they link up with y'all? Like, who discovered that they needed to come to the dungeon?
I think that was on Organized Noise, man. That was something that was a gift that landed in their lap, man. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm glad they came, man, because just when they did that Players Ball, man, you know what I'm saying? And that being the only song like that on that compilation album at that time.
Right.
Oh, man. That started everybody. That started Goodie Mob. That started Dungeon Family. That one song started Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music. And it just led me to this day. I look at them, I'm like, man, y'all, bro. I'm like, man, y'all some dynamic duos, man, right now, man. Special, man.
Yeah.
Coming out of Atlanta, Georgia, at least we can say we got some special people coming out of Atlanta, man. You feel what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I definitely would put them two boys at the top of that list.
Absolutely. So y'all initiated them. I want to know what that entails.
You know how it is, man. Just rough them up a little bit. Rough them up a little bit. That's all.
Okay.
Just see if they can go, man. And they had that fire in them, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So, on a deeper note, you talked about it even when you came here. You have some good days and some bad, and you got to get through them, right?
Yeah.
So we've all dealt with. You talked about losing friends. I'm sure you've dealt with loss and plenty of tragedy. Are you open to talking about your accident and losing your right leg?
Sure.
Yeah. How my real question from that experience, because we all, like I said, we all go through different loss and tragedy in general. But when it comes to like an accident, how would you say you learned from that accident? I'm not sure of the specifics or how it happened, but at the end of it, when it was all said and done, you had to come to like a deep reflection for yourself. Like, dang, what should I take away from this moment?
It's a good question, man. I don't really think I really learned from that incident because I still find myself doing those same things that caused that to happen to me. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't say it was an accident. I think I would say it was a habit that I had, and it got the best of me at the time. I was coming from after dropping off some people at the dungeon, and I had been drinking, but I didn't know that was gonna happen to me that night. You know what I mean? All I remember is airbag exploding in my face and glass and stuff everywhere. And if it wasn't for the bad situation I was in, I could have easily got a DUI at that time. So the music business is a good thing, but it's also pros and cons in it. Just like I like what Pimp C said, man, it's, you know what I'm saying, compulsive drinking, lustful thinking, all that type of stuff. It's a lot of temptation in the music industry, man, and you just gotta be strong, man. And at some point in some time, I wasn't as strong as I could have been. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I'm still learning from that situation.
Yeah.
And, just hopefully I could still come out on top of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think too, just it's a testament to who you are, just being able to continue performing and continue your life past that situation where some people would have been like, all right, that's enough. I'm over it.
It's not, it's not easy because I got people that have to deal with me. You know what I mean? I got family that have to deal with when I do dumb things. You know what I mean? And they have to deal with that, and it hurts. You know what I mean? And I'm human, and I'm far from being perfect. A lot of people see this Khujo Goodie, this and Goodie Mob and this and that. Oh, he's a good guy, but I'm not a good guy all the time.
Yeah.
Not all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those are the pros and cons of the music industry, because it can be pressure when you don't feel like it's pressure.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's just what that was. I was trying to release my first album, and I felt a lot of pressure, man, just to get this record out, get it out, man. Just, man, go to all the DJs if you can, man. Just hit all the clubs, man. Just, man, whatever you can do, but you can't do everything in one day. I think that's what was going on. Trying to do everything in one day on top of doing the other stuff as far as like heavy drinking like that. And it just, it cost me my leg.
And it really kind of speaks to, because I've dealt with things too personally where it's just like one decision could change and alter, just the direction of your life. But it's good that we can sit and let that out and understand like how to be more aware to prevent those things and to tell other people, because, it's other people out here young who are on all that and more. I
understand it, man. Yeah, man, if you can, man, especially if you got somebody telling you, man, so they don't want you doing that and stop doing that. They really care about you.
Right.
At the time they're telling you might not feel like that. You know what I'm saying? You might even lash out. You might even call people names, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, they're trying to help you.
Absolutely.
And I definitely would strongly advise, especially with the young artists out there, man, to definitely be aware of that.
Yeah.
Definitely be aware of the drugs and the alcohol and the lustful thinking and all that. Just be aware of the temptation because it is in the music industry. For some reason, it hovers over the music industry for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but
For the test of time. Like, it's been around. It ain't
right.
new.
Yeah.
Nothing new
For
under
sure.
the sun. That's what you said.
For
Huh?
sure.
And another thing, you had some troubles with Henry County.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
was reading the story because I didn't really know the specifics. And I'm like, wow, they really on that. So for those that don't know, he had a run-in with the law, yes. And we know how the justice system is towards black men in any way. But more specifically, I want you to speak to maybe some advice you might have to give to someone who is young with a lot going for themselves, similar situation as you, be it
right.
in the entertainment industry. We've seen these similar situations for other artists dealing with the law and even with owning firearms, as we've seen this problem specifically haunt over or hover over the music industry itself. So what advice would you give? Because that was so simple as to your paperwork being wrong.
That's right. The simplest thing I can say is you got to obey the laws of the land. You know, we're in America. If the law is Khujo don't drink and drive, and I do drink and drive, and I get pulled over, I can't be mad at the police.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? He's doing his job. I just broke your law.
Right.
So my thing is just be cognizant of this law and just don't think just because you're in the music business, you know what I'm saying, it won't happen to you, or when it does happen to you, I got enough money to get out of it. You know what I mean? Because in some of these cases, it don't work like that.
Right.
Sometimes these people will use you as an example.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to blame Henry County because I was breaking the law.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I broke the law, and when you break these people law, they either give you a fine or they throw you in jail.
Right.
So I had to sit down in jail for a couple of months.
But I do love how familial Goodie Mob, the Dungeon family is, because when you dealt with any of these struggles over the course of this time, Big Boy, CeeLo Green, they were both there to support you. I'm sure the entire Dungeon family, and they were very vocal in the media as well in terms of, just supporting you and saying, he gonna be good, we got his back. Can you speak to how you guys just been down and why that loyalty is so important and rare in this business? Because some people, like a Big Boy, seeing his success and he could have been like, all right.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Well, I definitely want to add my wife and my boys to the list of that because she definitely sat up there and testified to the judge about what type of person I am.
Good.
You know what I mean? And she could have easily said other things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And by the judge hearing that and then seeing that I had some type of support system with me, it was something that I guess he had never seen before because when most men, especially black men, get up in a situation like that, you really don't see a lot of support for them.
Right.
But having the support from Big Boy, CeeLo, Gip, Timo, Daniel Kane, that just showed the judge that, okay, let's give him another chance.
Right.
Because he got some people out there that there's somebody and they care for him. So
That's amazing. That's amazing. So did you write a book?
Yeah, I did write a book. It's called Straight Out the A. I think that came out in 2008 or 2012, something like that.
And what did you talk about in this book? I've read about it, but
I talked about a lot of stuff. I talked about especially like the times that I had at Southwest Middle School about how hip hop influenced me. I talked about some personal issues in there. I hadn't read the book in a long time, but I talks about how I started with Goodie Mob, and it was my first book, and I was just excited because a guy wanted to come to me and say, "Hey man, why don't you write a book?" I was like, "You think so? Yeah, write a book. Go ahead." So man, just putting it together, man, and putting that stuff together, man, it was quite an experience, man. Quite an experience. Never didn't make the top seller, but it's mine.
You wrote a book,
right?
right? I'm
my
like,
book.
all these things are history. They're part of your legacy, and
That's right.
Obviously, you have gone through the ups and downs of this business and this industry and life. We all deal with things, but it's cool to see that like you have something to leave behind for your sons, for your family. And I'm curious to know like what does after going through these things and like really seeing the industry for what it is, what does success look like to you? Because I'm sure when you first came in, it was like, damn, I'm trying to get some money from this.
True
I'm
that.
trying to, I want to, I want to be, I want people to know me or whatever it was for you then. But now, what does success look like to you?
That's a good question, man. And it could be a lot of answers to that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But success for me means peace, having peace, being happy with what you put out. You know what I'm saying? Your work that you put out before you, being happy with that, and just having a sense to know that, you know what I'm saying, if and when it does something happens to me, that my family still can benefit off of the things that I put 25 or 30 years ago. And it's not on no crazy bullshit. You feel what I'm saying? It's actually on trying to bring some type of light to the community, to my community. You know what I mean? If it's a cell therapy song, just encouraging somebody to read something else, man. I mean, turn your TV off and just read something else. You know what I'm saying? If it's just that, I feel that I accomplished at least one thing.
What else do you feel like you need to do?
I think as far as music-wise,
Music, live, like, I mean, you've done a lot. You've done a lot. You've given us a lot. I'm not saying that you have to do anything more.
True that.
But I know that someone like you who has sustained through, 20 plus years of doing this and putting in the time, there's probably other things you're trying to do.
I feel you on that. Well, one thing is, like, you can't get time back. You know what I mean? So if I had to do it all over again, I would like to get some of that time back and put it over here with my family. You feel what I'm saying? Because working like that on the road and back and forth.
Because you have
know
4
what I'm saying?
sons.
It'll alter your reality a lot. It'll alter your thinking. And you have to be brought back to reality.
Yeah. So are you able to spend that time now with your family?
Yeah, I'm definitely able to do that now.
Yeah. How old are your sons?
My oldest is 20. My youngest one just turned 17. And my other 2 boys are 18 and 19.
Oh, you like 17, 18, 19, 20.
Yeah.
You had them.
Yeah, praise God.
That's amazing. 4 sons. So are they interested in music?
They listen to music,
But not like in
as
terms
far
of
as,
doing it.
not in terms of doing. They just listen to it for actually entertainment, and I
That's
hadn't seen that in a while. Just listening to the music, just for entertainment. You know, some people listen to music back in the days and they dance off the music. You know what I'm saying? You don't really see that too tough no more. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, people ain't dancing no more.
nah, they not.
All they
man.
do is dance.
So I just think they enjoy the music, man, and I enjoy them enjoying the music because it's young artists that I don't know about, and they put me on to it. I'm like, wow, well, who's that?
Right.
Well, who's that? Who's
Right.
that?
That's dope. Yeah, I hear that a lot from my OGs. Like, my daughter put me on to your artist or whatever. I'm like, yeah, we out here.
Yeah,
We out here trying to continue the legacy too.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you. And I'm excited and just happy that I was able to sit down and talk to you through your life and what you've been able to pour into our industry. So I thank you.
Appreciate you.
Yes,
All right.
absolutely. And just tell them where they can find you on social media if they want to get in touch, if they want to follow what you got going on.
Yeah, I think the best place to find me is at youtube.com/Khujo Goodie. I mean, Instagram is Instagram. It is what it is. It is what it's supposed to be. But with YouTube, as far as you putting stuff up like that, I think that's kind of strong too.
Yeah,
So you can
absolutely.
definitely find me there. And I got a new single I'm releasing. It's called Wesation. That just goes back from the
It's called what?
Wesation.
Wesation.
Yeah, it's almost like saying what's up or what's happening, how about it, what you got going on.
Wesation.
Wesation. So it's a combination of what's happening.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I say Wesation. And that'll be out October 3rd, but you can go and download and pre-order it right now.
Sweet. And also the other single, what is it? What did you just say?
Well, don't.
With not CeeLo, with Sleepy Brown.
Oh yeah, No Rain, No Rainbow.
No Rainbow.
Definitely go get that, man. And that's that 90s feel good music, man. And we got the OG Sleepy Brown on there. And we got Organized Noise on there, man. And we got CeeLo, Big Gip, Timo, and you got myself on there. So I think people would enjoy that one.
I do too.
I think they enjoy that.
I do too. Well, thank you so much, Khujo. And as always, you guys can find this podcast at I Do Music. IDM Podcast. You got me tongue-tied. And send me approved on all social media platforms. Thank you again.
Man, my pleasure. Appreciate it.
Peace.